Hello, I am here in Fleming Instrument Repair in Houston, Texas. I'm in this really cool practice booth, and I'm reviewing the Selmer Reference 54 Kookaburra edition, which is a limited edition part of Selmer's Bird series, honoring the great Charlie Parker, of course. And what they did was they released a series of bird-related saxophones. This one entitled the Kookaburra, in honor of Australian saxophonists. This is a kind of an interesting instrument, I think. Coming from a Supreme, it feels quite different than what I'm used to. I read a little bit about the saxophone, and the metal alloy does have a little bit more of a copper content to it. So I think that perhaps it's a little bit darker, warmer sound than maybe what I'm used to. The engraving itself is actually really interesting. Lots of references to the Kookaburra. Selmer's engraving is always, I think, very interesting, especially on their reference series. And the discerning saxophonist will notice that there are a variety of very Mark VI-ish looking keywork. This is, of course, on purpose, being a reference to Charlie Parker and the legendary Mark VI saxophone. You'll notice that there is the F-sharp key pearl as opposed to the more modern oval shape. The side key stack is also really interesting, more of a kind of retro configuration to those keys. I'm interested by the octave key mechanism, which to me looks a little bit more modern. I admittedly need to do some more homework on this, but my understanding is that this particular shape and function of the octave key is more of a Series 3 octave key. And I don't know, perhaps that's a throwback that I'm not aware of, but overall the keywork is a good blend of more modern keywork as well as the original Mark VI keywork itself. So just to demonstrate sort of the tone of this instrument, I'll just play a full range chromatic scale slowly, so that we can hear the tone of this instrument. So to my ears, it's just, especially in the lower end, it's a very warm, full sound. I really like, actually, very much the low end of the saxophone. And I feel like it's pretty typical of the Selmer sound, in my opinion. Now, it does feel different than my Series 2 and different than my Supreme, being that this is a Reference 54. But overall, I do like the tone. On this instrument, it feels very, very even from top to bottom. Yeah, let me play something a little bit more melodic, so we can hear maybe how it sounds in action. The instrument also responds really well during fast technical passages, such as this. I think that Selmer, with the reference series, has done a really good job of sort of marrying modern saxophone design with sort of vintage to create these collector's items. The really interesting thing about the Kookaburra saxophone is that, to my knowledge, that only 330 of them were ever produced. So the odds of coming across one are really quite low. They're very few and far between. Every part of the bird series, they did 5 different birds, and each one of those they are considered collector's horns. So I feel like this instrument does a very good job of being that collector horn, but also is very enjoyable to play on as well.